Hello, and welcome back to day number 117. 117. And my name is Mary. Welcome to a new story. And today's story title is Absalom's Plan. Not long after David's sin, the sorrows Nathan had predicted began to fall on David. He had many wives, and his wives had many sons. But most of his sons had grown up wild and wicked, because David had not watched over them and taught them to love God and do God's will. He had been too busy being king to do his duty as a father. The oldest of David's son was Absalom, who was said to be the most beautiful young man in all the land. He had long hair, of which he was very proud because all the people admired it. Absalom became very angry with Amnon, another of David's sons, because Amnon had been cruel to Absalom's sister Tamar. But Absalom hid his anger against Amnon, and one day he invited Amnon and all the other sons of David's to a feast at his house in the country. While they were all at the table, Absalom's servants rushed in and killed Amnon. The other princes were alarmed, afraid they all would be killed, and they ran away. But no harm was done to the other princes, and they arrived home safely. David was greatly displeased with Absalom, though he loved him more than any other son. Absalom ran away to his grandfather, his mother's father, the king of Geshur. He stayed there for 3 years, and all the time David longed to see him. After 3 years, David allowed Absalom to come back to Jerusalem. But for a while he would not see him because he had caused his brother's death. At last, David's love was so strong that he could no longer refuse to see his son. He sent for Absalom and let him back into the palace. But Absalom was ungrateful and cruel. He formed a plan to take the throne and the kingdom away from his father and make him himself king. He began by living like a king, with a royal chariot and horses and 50 men to run before him. He would rise early in the morning, stand at the gate of the king's palace, and meet those who came to see the king. He would speak to each man about his problem, then say, "Your cause is good and right, but the king will not hear you. Now, if I were a judge, I'd see that right was always done." This was Absalom won the hearts of everyone he met, from every part of the land, until many wished he was king instead of David. Because David no longer led the army in war, or sat as judge, or went among the people, he lived apart in his palace, knowing what was being done in the land. And that was the word of the Lord. Now we come to our discussion questions. Number 1, Why had David's sons grown up wild and wicked? Why had David's son grown up wild and wicked? Number 2, what did Absalom do that was wrong? What did Absalom do that was wrong? The second part to question 2, did his father still love him? Did his father still love him? The third part to question number 2, how do you know? How do you know? Number 3, 2 parts. First part, what did Absalom want from David? What did Absalom want from David? The second part, how did he try to get it? How did he try to get it? And that was the end of our questions today. We'll be together shortly again. May God bless us all. Bye for now.